Freak Nation, Tyler Reddick back in the Freak Nation. And Tyler, we've had this interview scheduled for about a week and a half. And coming out of Darlington, I thought, man, what a perfect time to get Reddick in here. He's leading the race. He's going to go on to win this damn thing.
Oh, it's your fault. Okay, thanks. I guess. Yep. Have a good one, folks. Thanks for having me.
Exactly. Nailed it.
How do I get out of here? It's different than what I'm normally accustomed to. How do I find the leave button?
Listen. You find
it on the screen. Typically, there's like leave meeting. I can't find it.
Instead of mullet,
instead of around then.
Jesus Christ! What have you learned to the old saying, not count your chickens before they hatch? Because I was certainly going, Tyler Reddick's got him an early season win.
I was definitely not doing that in the race car. So I don't know. I knew the 12 was really, really good. He'd shown it in practice. He'd shown it at times throughout the race when a lot of cars kind of would get stuck and just kind of be in the position they are. He would continue to advance and move forward. Though we were keeping our eyes on it. I think we were obviously keeping our eyes on a lot of the cars that went further than we did, just tracking their progress back to us. And I mean, the first 10, 15 laps were very, very promising. The 12 may have made up some ground, but like the first car that ran it out further, like the 24 or the 11, and the 20 weren't really making the progress back that it was expected to. But obviously when the 12 found his way around those cars that he was racing for a position, that thing was unleashed, if you will. And here it came. It was half a second to 3/4 of a second every single lap. On a different level than anyone else in the field.
Freak Nation, he's got himself 3 top 5s, I believe 4 top 10s. Tyler Reddick here in the Freak Nation. And when the Fox crew shows Michael Jordan on the box watching you run these laps, you can kind of see him start to grimace like he knows that Blaney's coming. You've got the greatest closer in the history of sports listening to what's going on. What's Tyler Reddick thinking at that time? How do I close this thing?
Yeah, trying to run through those options. I was kind of boxed in though. There were some cars around us that had fresher tires. Granted, they were running further down in the running order. But a couple laps on tires at a place like Darlington can be enough to make one of those lesser cars just be fast enough to stay in front of you, but not be able to pass them. And that's kind of the box I ended up in. It really couldn't do much to help improve the gap that I had to the 12. So I was just kind of riding and hoping that the cars around me were going to make a mistake or just have enough left to fight off the 12. And the first attempt, if you will, worked. Dang near crashed doing it, but I was able to keep behind me in 1 and 2 one of the laps. And I don't know. I definitely would do it differently if I had another opportunity. In my head, I was like, man, I don't want to wreck and, finish 30th like I did in the spring last year. But I guess at the end of the day, if I got spun trying to block the 12, maybe at most I lose 2 or 3 spots. So I think I definitely would approach it a little bit differently now having it under my belt, being in that spot.
Kenny wants to ask about Michael Jordan, some famous dude that's on your box, whatever. I want to know, because it's just been so curious to me, your dynamic with a fellow racer out there, Denny Hamlin, who just so happens to also be your team owner. What can you even explain? Can you even put into words what that's really like, racing your team owner, but he's on a different team?
I think on the track, we race each other like, as if we, he's not my owner and I'm not his driver. I think, we don't let it get too out of hand, right? I think we both race each other respectfully, but hard. Off the racetrack, I feel like, even before being my team owner, he's a Toyota teammate. So that relationship is there too. So yeah, I feel like, any chance that we can get, if I'm in a spot to help or he's in a spot to help, just like we would with our other Toyota teammates, we lean on each other for that help. So it's nice having someone that, is a teammate, is an owner, that has the veteran experience that he does. When I have these thoughts or these questions in my head, it's nice to be able to go to someone with that experience to give me honest feedback as an owner, feedback as a driver, feedback as a teammate. So it's been nice to have that.
What is some of the greatest advice he has given you in these last couple of years? Speaking of Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is what happens when I listen to his podcast. He doesn't want to divulge trade secrets. That's what he called it this week. I'd love to talk to you about all those little things that have helped me. But as one thing about this next gen car, all these little details used to be somewhat important, but wouldn't directly apply to anyone else in the field or to another team or another manufacturer. And just the way this next gen car is and how close everyone's getting, every little thing is just so important. So I'll just have to leave you guys up to speculation on what those would be.
Of course you would.
All
okay,
right.
then let me go down a different aisle. Has either team owner Denny Hamlin or Michael Jordan given you the okay, or has it even been on your mind to maybe venture into some dirt racing as well? Like you used to.
It's been a while since we've talked about it, but I thought that was something that I wouldn't say it was like a super important factor, but it was one of the things that was important to me, is having that freedom to do that. So I mean, it came up in discussions as things were coming together. I've got the feeling, and from our conversations about it years ago, that as long as it doesn't take away from, competition related things that we have during the week, or take away from my commitments, like at the racetrack, that unless it's something absolutely crazy, I should be able to, have that freedom to do it. I've just found with this Cup schedule and everything that happens during the week, I just haven't really got to that point yet where I feel like I can pull myself away from the week in, week out routine, and go run a dirt race without really having the chance of negatively impacting our race weekend on the Cup side. So I feel like over time, I'm hoping that gets better. Maybe one of these times I just need to pick a weekend and see if it hurts us. It's kind of hard to judge, but we've seen other drivers be able to do it and not impact their performance. So it's definitely something that, I wouldn't say I go to bed thinking about it every night, but I do wonder, how would that look? How would that work? It's someday here soon. I've just got to pull the trigger on it and do it and get back in something else.
Tyler, you've been through one pregnancy. Well, not you. Your wife Alexis had. You've got a child. You've got another child on the way. You're leaving out somebody, and that's your wonderful wife, brother. You need to talk to that young woman about what the hell you're going to do outside of NASCAR, Skipjack.
Yeah. If it was up to the boss lady, I would never get back in a 410 sprint car. That's for sure.
Oh no.
But it is what it is. We'll work it out. I'll find a way to convince her that it's okay.
Somehow we need to get Alexa and Samantha Bush together and just push them off to the side and say, let the boys go do their thing.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because Samantha doesn't want Kyle to do it either.
I mean, if I could find a way to pull it off, a great time to do it is when she's busy with baby number 2.
Right.
I pretty much, I wouldn't be shocked to find some of my personal belongings in the garage when I got home.
Oh no.
It's all about the trade-offs,
No, we just need to have a girls' weekend, and we'll say, ladies, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
Let
sure.
the boys go make some money.
I'm pretty sure that if I was gonna do that, she would want to be there to either, give me a hug if it goes well, or chew my ass out if things go really bad. If I have a big spill, she'll probably be the first one to the car to cuss me out. Like, that was stupid. So.
I told you so.
Tyler Reddick joining us here in the Freak Nation. One last thing before we get the hell out of here. Bristol, again, it's coming up this weekend. It's setting up to be one of those where the fans are going to go, we need more passing. We need more action on the track. We saw Martinsville. We saw Darlington. What would Tyler Reddick do different for Bristol? Would you bring in an alternate tire to Bristol?
Or short tracks in general.
It's a short, I don't know. I think unless we really step outside the box of what we know, a new tire that's a little bit softer would just be a short-term solution. I think until we get to a point where these tires wear out extensively and you really see, disparity in lap time between one car and the next, it's going to be difficult. This is year 4 of the next gen car. Some people have bounced from one team to the next, and just everybody's closed in on a lot of the same stuff on their cars. And you'll see it on Saturday in qualifying. I would not be shocked if the spread from 1st to 20th is very, very close. It could, at some point here in the near future, we're going to be looking at a 10th from 1st to 20th at some of these tracks we go to. And that's just, everyone's has really gotten the most out of these cars, out of their setups. So I think to help combat that, the tire's just going to have to get to a point where it you're able to run a fast lap, but it wears out quick. And the handling and the balance of how some of these cars, the little details come to light quicker. So there's a lot to that. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. But the steps Goodyear's been taking and searching and learning about how far do we need to go has all been pointing us in the right direction. These things just take time to happen. Honestly, it doesn't happen overnight.
Tyler, don't shave that mullet until you win a race.
Yeah, no.
I don't think I'm going to shave it even if I win a race. So,
yes.
Oh, boy. Reddick, it's always fantastic when you roll in the Freak Nation, buddy. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you both.